Hello and welcome back to another Coffee and Heroes podcast. Time for our monthly preview show. It doesn't seem no matter what our schedules are, we will always find a way to do previews. And it's going to be a good one this month, so definitely one to tune into. So your host is always Alan, the owner of Coffee and Heroes in Belfast, and joined as ever by Mr. Keith Miller. Good evening and happy Christmas to you.
And same to you. How are
We,
things?
I
I
mean, we've
believe,
we've got
believe
our tree up, but I believe you're getting ready to do so.
we are going to grab our tree from the Christmas tree farm this afternoon, and then we will dress it this evening. I think Bruno's been making decorations for the past couple of weeks, though how much we're in the house once it goes up, I don't quite know.
So you're just going for that Home Alone vibe of, it makes it look like someone's at home type thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Did you see that? Did you see that recent Google advert with Macaulay Culkin in it?
Of
If
the older,
Yeah, the
yeah.
older Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone, and exactly how that would change nowadays.
Well, I mean, as long as you've got a nice cardboard standee of Michael Jordan just to wind on a train around your house,
Yeah,
it'll have the
exactly.
desired effect either way. But
Exactly. So you've been to see Santa today, is that right?
yeah, I took the kids to see Santa. Alfie's now starting to get excited about the time of year that it is, starting to understand a little bit more. And then Ben, he's only 3 months, 3.5 months, but he was all giggles and smiles as he always is with Santa. So yeah,
Now,
good
is
stuff
is
there.
Ben is Alfie yet as excited about Christmas as you and Vicky get, or?
I'm not sure I get that excited about Christmas.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I just see Christmas as, oh my God, it's so busy. No, no, I mean, yeah, I mean he's reaching that stage now. He understands Santa, he understands the idea of gift giving, he understands, he wanted to put the tree up, for example, he wanted to
Okay.
help decorate
Uh-huh.
it. I think it's because they were doing it in nursery and stuff like that as well. They were all decorating their trees, and he's just starting to learn those wee social things, which is great. So but no, no, we're excited for Christmas as well. We won't actually be here. Anybody that listens to this, the store will be open as normal, but we're away from the 20th to the 27th. So Christopher will be holding down the fort, and a very kind Mr. Miller has offered to pop in from time to time and make sure that he's not too snowed under. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, so the store will be open as normal. The only days we're closed, I think, are Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then New Year's Day. When I get back on the 27th, I'll be back in the store from the 28th, and then give Chris a few days off, obviously, after doing all that. So, yeah, but no, busy period, busy time of year. We're recording this on the Wednesday, which is a new comic book day. It was absolute Batman 15 today. It was bedlam. There was a queue out the door
Mm.
before I'd even opened. A
Very
lot of
good, very
excitement, a
good.
lot of hype around this book.
That was the Joker cover, wasn't it?
It was a Joker cover,
Yeah.
Joker issue. So it's one of those. It's one of those perfect storms of an issue where it's a jumping on point for new readers. It's a one shot, so you're not telling people they have to or order the next five issues or anything. It's a spec issue because it's absolute Batman, so it appeals to another different demographic. So it's sort of one thing after another, but just that book's been an absolute runaway success, and then that gets people into the store, and then suddenly they say, "Oh, there's a new issue of Ultimate Spider-Man," and there's some DCKO tie-ins, and oh, there's the Darkness back. I remember that from the '90s, and oh, there's Terminator, etc., etc. So it was a really really good week this week in terms of releases,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that absolute Batman issue definitely just gets people through the door,
One of
which
my
is great to see.
another issue, one of my favorites this week was a new issue of the new Conan miniseries, the Serpent Crown,
Scourge of the
Scourge
Serpent.
of the Serpent Crown. Yeah, so looking
Yeah,
forward to getting into that.
yeah, some really really good stuff, and then just to throw it in as well. Keith and I both indulged in a Lone Wolf and Cub glorious looking deluxe edition from Dark
Oh
Horse
yeah,
Comics.
yeah. It's
Might
printed
be my
Japanese
Christmas reading.
style. It's printed
Yeah,
Japanese style, so sort of reading from
traditional
our
right to
point of
left.
view. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And lovely hardcover. Very, very, very nice. I think it covers volume one, volume two, and issues of volume three. So glad to get my paws on that.
Yeah, I think your exact words were, "This looks like the kind of book that's probably going to be hard to get in a month, so maybe I'll just take one now." Yeah, they don't tend to do big print runs of those types of books. They are quite expensive to produce, I believe. So it's similar vein to like an omnibus, that sort of thing. So they do tend to be limited runs. But we did just check before we came on to record tonight. It is still in stock with suppliers, so I'm going to order another couple as I was sold out of them already today. So
Good shout. Good shout. Yep,
definitely get
absolutely.
another few in. But yeah, no, we're here to chat predominantly about the previous books, and these are the December books. We're looking forward, believe it or not, already to February 2026. as ever. Where does the time go?
And probably a couple from May and probably a couple from September whenever we suddenly realize they're advanced solicits.
Yeah, there might be a couple in there. There's definitely a couple of hardcovers in there, as well as a new criminal book, which we'll certainly get into a bit more,
Hmm.
which is now following more the traditional or the now traditional Brubaker Phillips format of releasing straight to hardcover rather than single issues. Although we say that in a week where an actual single issue of Criminal came out, which is pretty cool. But yeah, loads of stuff to jump into. I mean, I remember we did the previous book last month. It wasn't that extensive.
Mm.
And now I'm looking at this month, so I'm like, and they're making up for it. Lots of number ones, lots of new series, lots of big hitters releasing books this month in terms of creative teams.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
tell us about what's going on in the DC book specifically.
Well, DC is a big one this month because DC are relaunching Vertigo. So Vertigo has always been it's almost been like their independent imprint. It was a case of they used to attract creators to DC by saying, here's your DC book. So they might be writing, Batman, Superman, Justice League, whatever. But you can also do a Vertigo book, which doesn't necessarily have to be linked to the DC universe. So a lot of the best titles of yesteryear came out through DC Vertigo. So Sandman.
Tends to be older sort of leaning in terms of readership, right?
Yeah, I mean, even on the cover here, it says 17 plus mature,
Mm.
even on the previous book. But yeah, you used to get like really mature titles like, Sandman and Why the Last Man and Transmetropolitan and Hellblazer, Constantine, and, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing would be released through DC Vertigo and stuff like that. So it's good to see it back as an imprint. That DC sort of played around with the idea of Black Label replacing it. But Black Label just doesn't have that, industry recognition. Vertigo was like, the reason for so many creators to like jump to DC at that point because they had that creative freedom. So they're launching with three new books as well as jumping on point for an existing book. We'll delve more into detail on those. We've got one of the most interesting and funny looking issues I've seen in a while, which is going to be linked to DCKO, which sort of came out of nowhere, but we'll jump into that. We've got a title finally finishing. It seemed like it started about 2 years ago at least. It's
At
only four
least.
issues, but yet it's taken a while. But it will be worth waiting for because it's genuinely one of DC's best books in the last little while. You've got collected editions for some amazing stuff this year. Keith and I have been talking about doing an end of year show, and there's a specific book that is getting a trade paperback collection that I'm sure will be high on both our lists for the year.
Absolutely, yeah.
The greatest comic book of all time, TM, is coming to the DC Compacts line, which we'll delve into on that as well. And yeah, even a little bit of good stuff there for Western fans, which again we'll delve into once we go into the DC book in more detail. But yeah, pretty stacked DC month, and it looks like a pretty stacked Marvel month as well.
Yeah, so February 2026 at Marvel looks to be moving the needle a little bit. We have, and I know this one's an exciting one for you, Alan. We've got a brand new Daredevil #1, and it's looking sweet. Uh, we've got brutal fresh starts for Punisher and Wade Wilson Deadpool. Godzilla is crashing back into the Marvel Universe, and we've got big swings across the X line for the coming off the back of the Edge of Revelation. We've got is it Shadows of the Past, Shadows of Tomorrow line starting, and that's across. We've got the likes of Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutants, to Generation X 23, to Cyclops, to a couple other books we'll talk about. We've got facsimiles and omnibuses to wild crossovers. We've got Planet of the Apes versus the Fantastic Four and Alien versus Captain America this month. So it's all about sort of legacy colliding with some sort of fairly crazy sort of bonkers new ideas. So exciting times, exciting times. And here's hoping because it feels like Marvel needs it.
They do. I mean, you can certainly go back in the podcast feed and check out our State of the Union for comics, where we went into a little bit of detail on all of the companies at the moment. But yeah, hopefully Marvel has a big 2026, as there's loads of good stuff, certainly solicited for February anyway. When it comes to the independent side of things, as ever, we don't have any indie books. If you've been listening to us for a while, you'll understand previous books don't get printed anymore, but you can find all the solicitations on leagueofcomicgeeks.com, and that's where we source our information. And there's some good looking stuff in February. It's not a massive amount, but again, that's not always a bad thing. But a certain favorite pulp hero is getting a new series from IDW, which I know Keith will be very excited about. Not only pulp but also Universal Monsters getting a new title in February. That's been a very, very popular line for the last couple of years. We have
Hmm.
Brubaker and Phillips coming back with a new hardcover, which is always a good thing, even to the point, pardon me, where on pull lists, people just have on their pull lists whatever the new Brubaker Phillips hardcovers. So, that speaks for itself. We've got a very unusual looking noir book, which looks a lot of fun, which we'll get into as well.
Uh-huh. Noir, of course, that usually ticks your boxes. So let's see if this one does too.
Yeah, ticks the boxes every single time. We've got Cy Spurrier kicking off a new book through Distillery, which is always something to be celebrated, and a few other bits and pieces in between. So yeah, plenty to jump into. We'll kick off as well as do with the DC book. So DC book, you've got your DC Connect, and you will see on the front there DC Vertigo, and it's with the DC Bullet logo as well. These things are important. It just looks right. So as ever, we have these previews books always lying around in the store. I've started ordering more previews books, so there's always piles of them at the counter. So you guys can come in and grab a copy if you need to and take them home. And then let us know anything you want to add. But yeah, I mean, you open up the book and you'll see here DC have actually written a little short history of DC Vertigo, just to go into it quickly. So in 1993, DC launched its Vertigo imprint, a move that represented the medium's shift towards mature reader storytelling and robust genre exploration. While it included beloved series that were previously a part of the main DC line, Vertigo became defined by original concepts far outside of superheroes, many of which still stand as some of the best and most influential comics of the modern era. Readers came to know Vertigo as more than a publishing initiative, as a sensibility and aesthetic. Comics that were bizarre and beautiful, transgressive and terrifying, poignant and passionate, those were Vertigo comics, and their success reshaped the comics industry itself along the way. It's with that spirit that we bring you the DC Vertigo of today. The imprint first returned last fall by adopting the current series that truly embodies its ethos, The Nice House by the Sea, by James Tynion IV and Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and it now expands with a slate of all new series from bold and imaginative voices starting in February of 2026. DC Vertigo is back, and it's nothing you've seen before. So that's DC Vertigo, as mentioned in the
Interesting.
well, I mean, you know the joy of Vertigo, the
Hmm.
history of it, the lineage, you're still feeling the effects there. I mean, it's fair to say that likes of modern day Image and Boom and so forth probably wouldn't even exist without that legacy of Vertigo showing that comic fans were more interested in stuff than just traditional superheroes. Adult storytelling, long form storytelling, world building, all that kind of stuff was Vertigo really pushed that to the forefront of comics, I think. And we always said it with Nice House by the Lake, a Nice House on the Lake, and now we have Nice House by the Sea. We always said if ever a book screamed Vertigo or
Yeah.
Image, it was this book. And it's going to be coming back with issue 7 in February. So that's basically the midpoint of Nice House by the Sea. So this could be a jumping on point. Personally, I'd make sure I read it from 1 to 6. There is a trade available.
I'd
But
I'd make sure I'd read Nice House on the Lake as well.
I would say that's quite essential also,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
yeah.
given where the storylines went after that. But I mean, the Nice House Saga has collected multiple Eisner Awards and the prestigious Best New Series prize at the International Comics Festival. Now is the time to get on board as the action kicks into high gear and horrors and its pages grow even more grotesque. So that's just a quick one to point out just for those returners. But we've 3 new books being launched in February. And again, these creative teams are fantastic. The first one is from writer Dennis Camp, who, of course, is on an amazing hot streak at the moment. Ultimates through Marvel, sort of crisis events through Image Comics, Absolute Martian Manhunter through DC, and now they're doing a book with their 20th Century Men collaborator, artist Stipian Morian. The Red Hot writer of Absolute Martian Manhunter reteams with, this is just what I said while I'm even rereading it. I'm not too sure. But the book sounds absolutely great, and there is some awesome preview art in there as well. You can have a look at through in the store. So the solicitation for this one reads: The zombies won. And 10 years after the fall of humanity, they're the dominant form of life, or not life, on Earth. They've developed their own cultural practices, their own language, their own society. Mouse pokes golf ball through hole in the head, or poke for short, is a beloved member of his community, and with his brother-in-arm Mush, he's happy to shamble along through the only world he can remember until the day his heart mysteriously starts beating again, and in a blink, the first humans he sees have stopped looking like food and have started looking like friends. The team behind 20th Century Men, the bold mission statement that launched writer Dennis Camp and artist Stipian Morian to the next level of the comics industry, has reunited to bring you a world ruled by ruthless kill or be killed logic pitted against the demands of a single beating, bleeding, emotional heart. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Dennis Camp always has some sort of offbeat concepts and some very original storytelling. So I think that'll be a popular one. Another one coming from the Peacemaker team. So there was a book recently, Peacemaker Tries Hard. Tremendous fun. If you enjoyed the TV show, it's like the lost season of it, to be honest. Written by Kyle Starks, a writer I know Keith's a big fan of, specifically through Rock Candy Mountain,
Mm-hmm.
but many others. And then the artist on this is that Peacemaker artist, Steve Pooh. So this one sounds great as well. So professional hitman Eddie Stallion has messed up. He's accidentally robbed the Raven, a high-ranking boss of the international cabal of assassins, the Menagerie, of which Eddie is a member, or he was. Now with the price on his head, Eddie chooses to hide in the one place everyone knows he'd never go, the small Midwestern town of Pluto, home of his estranged father and known hard-ass George Stallion. Looking for safe harbor, Eddie instead finds his resentful father dying of cancer, old friends looking to collect that bounty, menagerie assassins who have wandered into town, a cancelled newspaper comic strip creator turned local crime lord, and oh yeah, his childhood first love too. Kyle Starks and Steve Pugh, the team behind Peacemaker Tries Hard, present the story of a man-child assassin with some very grown-up problems. As Eddie grows more attached to the people of Pluto, he'll have to step in to solve those problems the only way a hitman knows how. One thing just worth mentioning before Keith jumps in with the third Vertigo book is that they all seem to be launching as well with 40-page number ones, and they're all launching with a $4 price point. And again, that's
Mm-hmm.
really, really attractive in a world of $5 issues, which tend to be 32 pages. So 40 pages, $4, definitely worth jumping on the Vertigo number ones. And as if those two weren't worth jumping on, here comes
Oh,
another.
this is for me. This is I mean, obviously, Nice House is a continuing saga, and as you said, very much belongs in the Vertigo milieu. But this one looks like it for me. The Peril of the Brutal Dark and Ezra Kane mystery number one. New York City, 1941. Ezra Kane is a private investigator with a reputation for taking on the chin if it means solving a case. But it's his former life as an archaeology student that makes him the one man who can track down an artifact that's gone missing from the Museum of Natural History. An ancient anvil said to hold the power of the Greek god Hephaestus. If someone could harness that power, they could bend nations to their will. Science fiction quickly becomes Kane's reality when a shadowy sect calling themselves the Brutal Dark appears in the city, wielding resources that defy human logic. Now, Ezra is the only thing that stands between them and their plot to overthrow America. Writer Chris Condon and artist Jacob Phillips, creators of the hit series That Texas Blood and the Enfield Gang Massacre, introduce us to a private eye whose business is exposing our deepest secrets. But on this job, he learned that some mysteries are better off buried. This looks class, looks like the beginning of like an Ezra Kane sort of I guess, series of Ezra Kane mysteries, you know. So I'm that there's a wee bit of a sniff of Indiana Jones about that, isn't there?
Stuff of Indiana Jones, you've got noir, you've got set during World War II.
Yep, yep,
There's just all the it just ticks every single box, and then again that creative team is
yep.
just absolute golden. So these guys actually, I met them at London Comic Con back in May, and they told me about this book, but I couldn't tell anybody about it.
Uh-huh.
But they'd already signed, but they hadn't actually made the announcement just yet. So definitely one to look forward to. You'll also notice in the DC Vertigo book as well, there is not quite solicitations just yet, but they are showing off the slate of some of the books coming up as well. So just to give you an idea of some of the talent involved, we'll not go into too much detail because I know we'll do it in future episodes. But 100 Bullets, another Vertigo stalwart title, is making a comeback from Bran Azrael and Eduardo Risso. There's a new book from the brilliant Constantine Hellblazer team of Cy Spur and Aaron Campbell. You've got a new book from Grace Ellis and Hannah Templar. You've got Tom Taylor doing a new book with Derek Robertson, another industry legend. You have a new Ram v Mike Perkins joint, so the guys behind the brilliant Swamp Thing run, which looks great as well. And then you've also got another
Mm-hmm.
book from Mariko Tamaki and Rosemary Valero O'Connell. So it just says coming later in 2026 from DC Vertigo. So hopefully they'll drip feed these titles out. There's nothing better, and I think like certainly the Absolute Universe and the Ultimate Universe proved this. You know, if you drip feed those books out and you don't like just throw them at everybody all at once, that's the way to grow your audience rather than like six new Vertigo books coming out in 1 week or 2 weeks, that kind of thing. So yeah, obviously tune in to future episodes and we'll be going through those other books as well once release dates are set in stone.
Brilliant. And moving, I guess, from the DC Vertigo universe, which is very much not built on superheroes, right into the heart of superhero territory with grand superhero battles. Obviously, in February, we are in the, I suppose it's the back half of DC's current event, DCKO, and we've got DCKO Boss Battle number 1 coming on February the 4th. To save our world, they must battle the champions of other worlds. Unexpected fighters from beyond the DC universe enter the arena. Wait, what? Who? As the remaining champions of the DCKO tournament prepare for the final rounds, they discover that there isn't enough Omega energy left to crown the winner a King Omega. To have any hope of stopping Darkseid, they'll need to engage in combat with the champions of other worlds beyond their own, including Annabelle, Homelander, Sub-Zero, and more. The shocking star-studded crossover sets the stage for the final chapters of the epic DCKO event and features matchups you never imagined possible. The ultimate battle is only beginning. That's by Jeremy Adams and Joshua Williamson, which gives me pause because they're both fantastic writers, with art by Carmine D. Giandomenico and Ronan Cliquette. That could be interesting. Homelander from The Boys, Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you've got characters from Beneath the Tree. You've got Sam from Beneath the Trees where nobody sees.
Yeah.
You've got Vampirella in there, Red Sonja. I mean, it's interesting because we seem to be entering into this current state of comics where crossovers between companies are becoming more and more commonplace. Obviously, we recently had Batman, Deadpool, Deadpool, Batman. They've announced Superman, Spider-Man for next year. But I mean, Red Sonja and Vampirella are Dynamite characters. Sam from Beneath the Trees is IDW. The Boys is through Dynamite as well. So it's nice to see these intercompany crossovers because that's really exciting for fans and it gets them to try out new things as well. So yeah, that sounds great. And we've said it before in a couple of previous episodes, like Jeremy Adams is quietly one of DC's sort of, stealth weapons at the moment. He's
definitely one of the MVPs right now. Yeah, for sure.
Really, really good. Moving along from there and on to a new book from friend of the store, Tini Howard. This is a new book, Saren's Love Hurts. So this will definitely appeal to a lot of guys in the store who love the Gotham City Sirens. So Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Black Canary. Art on this one is by Babs Tarr. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. So introducing Gotham's most eligible bachelorettes for at least a little while longer. First, there's Catwoman, who keeps playing cat and mouse with her two favourite boy toys, Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Next up, Harley Quinn, who's recently single and now committed to her hot girl era. Of course, there's also Poison Ivy, who just wants to enjoy her solitude, as long as her best friend Harley's there to enjoy it with her. And then there's the new girl, Black Canary, who's engaged to the love of her life, Green Arrow. But the closer they get to the wedding day, the more it feels like they might not be so written in the stars after all. But these four fabulous women aren't meeting to discuss any of that, at least not willingly. There's a killer on the loose in Gotham City, a killer of women. And when Black Canary realizes stopping the murders requires more criminal company than she's used to keeping, she finds herself reluctantly teaming up with the infamous Gotham City Sirens for the hunt. Easier said than done when the four of them can barely make it through one lousy brunch. Fan favourite writer Tini Howard teams with superstar artist Babs Tarr to bring you the sexiest and most scintillating DC Black Label series yet. That is just a traditional Black series size, so Keith, you don't need to panic. It's not a silly size.
Not silly sized yet.
I think aside from Batman the Second Night, I don't think there is another silly sized book out at the moment. So they're definitely becoming a bit more few and far between. One just worth mentioning as well is Absolute Wonder Woman is getting an annual in February. So DC, obviously, they did the Absolute Batman annual recently, which was tremendous. Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer on that one. What we find is with annuals is we will automatically put them in people's pull lists. But if then when they're picking them up, they're not a fan, they don't have to take them. But would rather do that than worry about people missing out. But yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman's getting its first annual and written by Kelly Thompson, of course, series regular writer. And artist by Mattia de Ulias, who was the artist on the 2-issue arc, you might remember, which went into the history of Wonder Woman's weapons, read almost like a Conan book or something like that. But yeah, so the annual's hitting in February. The experience of briefly becoming Medusa in order to save Gateway City changed Diana. It haunts her, and she has never stopped seeking an answer from the gods. Her pleas to Athena have gone unanswered until now. If she wants justice, the mission is deadly and uncertain. Is it worth the risk just to set right one injustice? Breakout artist Mattia de Ulis returns to the series for a visually spectacular epic of mythological crimes and personal redemption. Annuals are also good as well if you're not sure about a series because they're always one-shot adventures and they give a good deep insight into the character. Well, if they're well done anyway, a good insight into that character and that world. So you can always pick up an annual, and then if you enjoy that, you can jump on the series as well. Um, so yeah, but we have
Yeah.
a little bit of a miracle happening this month by
Yeah,
the look of it.
absolutely. And that miracle is the heart-stopping conclusion to Raphael Grampa's twisted Batman masterpiece, The Gargoyle of Gotham, which started back in the days whenever Alan and I first started collecting comics many, many years ago. I think the first three issues took about 500 years to come out, and it's been about a millennia since issue three. But as the bells ring out across Gotham City, blood runs in its streets. Dr. Geist's plan has come to fruition, and his legion of loyal followers unleash the evil inside their rotting hearts upon friends, neighbors, and strangers alike. But there's an evil lurking deep in Batman's heart as well, one that Dr. Geist himself discovered long ago, and the only way to save Gotham might be to set it free once and for all. So that's art and words by Raphael Grampa. There's also a noir edition of that available, but I mean that I'm going to have to probably reread those first three issues just to remind myself what the crack was. But absolutely gorgeous looking, well reading book. So I think it was. I think it's been a couple of years, hasn't it, since issue
This is
three.
all part of DC's cunning plan to offer value for their books because you got to reread them to understand where you are because it's been that long.
Is that the same cunning plan that they're coming up with for the for the last run of
We don't
Batman?
need to talk about Hattush, okay? We don't need to talk about Hattush. Um, Jim Lee lied to my face, to my face.
I thought surprising no one. Anyway, moving on to another really fantastic series, bat related, that just has been the height of Batman literature this year. We've got the trade paperback release of Batman Dark Patterns by Dan Watters and Hayden Sherman. Batman Dark Patterns is a series of four self-contained but linked street-level stories that delve into the early days of Batman's role in Gotham City and his healing presence within its streets. This grounded and mystery-driven narrative evokes the rich tone and style of beloved classics such as Batman Year One, Batman The Long Halloween, and Batman Hush, penned by the talented Dan Watters and brought to life through the striking artistry of Hayden Sherman. Each three-part story stands alone as a gripping detective case shedding light on the trauma and resilience of Gotham citizens and its urban landscape. The series masterfully underscores Batman's dual identity as a methodical sleuth and a shadowy beacon of hope, skillfully steering clear of cosmic or supernatural distractions. This intentional focus reassures readers of a steadfast commitment to a more authentic, detective-driven experience, highlighting relatable mysteries that brilliantly showcase the Dark Knight as a healer cloaked in darkness. That's coming in around 30 quid. Softback, trade paperback, 352 pages. You'd be a fool to miss it if you haven't been reading that series.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. I mean, it's up there with the best Bat books of the year. And it's been a strong year for Batman books. The Fraction relaunch with Volume 4 of Batman. You look at The Batman Second Night. You look at Absolute Batman. It's been very much a banner year, but that stands easily on a par with those books, if not slightly exceeding them as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been one of those books that I've been recommending probably for about the last 6 months because we couldn't trace some of the earlier issues. So I was like, look, when this hits trade, do not miss out on it. Wonderful art. It's always nice to read a Batman book as well, where it goes sort of almost back to the beginning in that there's no Robins, there's no baggage. Even his relationship with Gordon's not fully established at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the street level view of people in the city getting used to, Batman being around Gotham. So, yeah, cannot recommend enough. And I think you're going to see both those creators, Dan Watters and Hayden Sherman, sort of explode in the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
Hayden Sherman, of course, is also the artist in Absolute Wonder Woman, and Dan Watters is writing Nightwing. So it's not like they're not doing well already, but
Yeah, I think they're doing all right, like.
you get the feeling they're going to go up another step as
Yeah.
well.
Fair.
But another couple of things to showcase, and it would be remiss of me not to go through this book without showcasing the greatest, the OG, the top tier, the comic by which all other comics are measured, in my
Well, now.
opinion. In my opinion, which is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. For me, the greatest comic of all time. Frank Miller, of course, writing and drawing, and Lynn Varley on colors. Just an absolute showstopper of a book. Completely changed the way Batman was. Storytelling was released. Instantly made the character sort of iconic to an older audience, and it has stood the test of time as well. I mean, depressingly, it's hitting 40 years since this came out, but it's no less vital than it's ever been. But it's coming to the DC Compact range. So DC Compact, we don't need to go into it too much, as ever. One of the best things DC's ever done. Great price point. It's continuing with the $10 price point here. And you've got 200 pages of solid gold for that. So, for those who don't know, Dark Knight Returns, together with Inger Klaus Janson and colorist Lynn Varley, writer Frank Miller completely reinvents the legend of Batman in his saga of a near-future Gotham City gone to rot. 10 years after the Dark Knight's retirement, this masterpiece of modern comic storytelling brings to vivid life a dark world and an even darker man. I have no doubt I will pick that up again. It'll be about the 15th time I've bought Dark Knight Returns. I'll still buy more editions if they bring them out. But that is just that's a steal. £9. Unbelievable.
It is. And it'll be nice to remember what Frank Miller used to be.
Well, you have to end on a negative, Keith.
Are we ended? Is it ended?
You're literally talking about one of the most influential of all time, and you're criticizing a man who's now in his 70s, going like, he's not as good as he used to be. That's a surprise.
No, sir. But who of us are? Alan?
But yeah, two more just to finish off with. One from myself and one from Keith. Another beautiful edition that's worth highlighting here, sticking with the Dark Knight, of course. And if Frank Miller sort of pushed it past the finish line for making Batman a character that more sort of grown-up people could jump on to, more adult storytelling, then he definitely picked up from the groundwork laid by these guys. We have Batman by Neil Adams, the Absolute Edition. So Neil Adams, of course, one of the all-time greats, one of the all-time great artists, storytellers, everything. These stories are written by Denny O'Neil, another absolute legend in the industry. So presenting the complete works of Neil Adams on Batman, finally remastered and recolored to match the original printing and artwork. So this is an advanced solicited, won't even be out until August of next year, so this is an advanced solicitation.
God damn.
Experience the complete works of Neil Adams on Batman from 1968 to 1970 in this oversized, beautiful, absolute format, featuring his stories from world's finest comics, Brave and the Bold, Detective Comics, and Batman, along with an extensive cover gallery and more. Return to the original art and colors in this celebratory volume, brackets, 1 of 2. So this is volume 1. Volume 2 will no doubt come in about 3 years' time. But it's definitely worth picking that up. Neil Adams is, as I say, an absolute legend. And that's everything from me, but I did manage to point out one last thing.
Absolutely. We DC Finest that I missed. DC Finest Western, The Hangman Never Loses trade paperback. Journey back to the Old West, where fast wits and a fast draw are the only way to survive, and follow heroes like Hawk, Firehair, El Diablo, and more as they try to bring some semblance of justice to the lawless frontier. DC Finest Western, The Hangman Never Loses, is chock full of classic frontier adventure by some of the comic's greatest creators, including Robert Kanigher, John Albano, Gil Kane, Joe Kubert, Tony DeZuniga, and others. Denny O'Neil's mentioned there. Carrie Bates. We mentioned Gil Kane, didn't we? So yeah, absolutely. It's that sort of stuff just absolutely gets me. So collects All-Star Western 1 to 11, Super DC Giant 5 to 14, and 15 and 22, and issues of Tomahawk and Weird Western Tales. It was all stuff that was published between August 1970 and April 1973. 600 pages, sitting at that sort of 35, 40 pound price mark. So very nice.
Yeah, DC Finest have been sort of stuck at that $40 price point, which have been great. Consistent pricing the whole way along them. So They're definitely people have maybe slept on them a little bit to this point, but I've certainly
Hmm.
noticed in the last month people are starting to pick them up more and more. And then this week, for example, Wonder Woman came out, and it's Wonder Woman from the very start.
Lovely.
So yeah, some lovely additions through there. So yeah, strong month for DC there. Obviously, a big emphasis on Vertigo and some really good collected additions as well. But we slip over to the mighty world of Marvel, and we kick things off with the Return of the King. Oh, no, wrong franchise. Uh, it's been a long few months without a Daredevil ongoing book. We've got Daredevil Punisher to keep us warm in the meantime. But yeah, Daredevil is going to be returning with a brand new volume, brand new number one, brand new creative team. And I must say, it is an exciting team, and the preview art looks awesome. So Daredevil number one is going to launch in February from the team of Stephanie Phillips and Lee Garbett on art. Tons of variant covers, as you would expect. There's also, of course, going to be a blind bag variant program run as well. But yeah, a welcome return for Daredevil, and plenty of guys in store already excited about this. Solicitation goes, you can bury the bodies, but never the ghosts. Hell's Kitchen is full of secrets, but no secret stays buried for long. As a fearsome new supervillain named Omen has targeted Matt Murdock, it will be his alter ego Daredevil who takes the hits. But beware, this mysterious new player isn't all they appear. A secret Daredevil will have to learn quickly as he scrambles to settle into a life and status quo we've never seen him in before! Exclamation mark. Look alive, Marvelites, an all new and unprecedented era of Daredevil starts right here. So I'm excited for this. I think it's a great team. I think Stephanie Phillips has quietly been doing some really good work at Marvel. Did a really great creator-owned book as well with artist Flaviano called Grimm, 25 issue run, which was really, really good as well. Lee Garbett, I mean, I have his Batman Begins poster hanging in my house. I'm a big fan of his.
Hmm.
So it's great to see these guys on a title like Daredevil. Again, preview art is looking great.
Looks lovely. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
athletic. It's clean lines. I mean, Lee Garbett is Keith's kind of artist.
Oh, big
Clean
style.
lines
Big
everywhere.
style. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, definitely one to look forward to. Now, if you have been on Daredevil with us before, we will just continue you on to that because it's obviously Daredevil ongoing. But if you're not 100% sure, just pop in and we'll double check pull list for you there.
Cool. I am looking forward to Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon number one. Largely because I'm interested in seeing what Chip Zdarsky has up his sleeve. Armageddon strikes the Marvel Universe. Superstar writer Chip Zdarsky and dynamic artist Luca Maresca kick off a game-changing new saga. When an old acquaintance drags Logan into the search for a new abducted mutant subject, the terrifying methods of the defunct Weapon X program are revealed to be alive and well. As Wolverine follows the scent of the feral Tyler and the scent of his own trauma, he finds himself in a deadly race against a super soldier creating corporation called Prime Warrior, which has just hired a very familiar face, the fully armed and upgraded Nuke. Don't miss the first chapter of the biggest Wolverine story in years, one that will have a major impact on the future of the Marvel Universe. I imagine this is moving towards Chip's Armageddon sort of type uh,
Yeah,
event this summer.
they've been previewing an event, as you say, for later near called Marvel Armageddon. A lot of
Yeah.
people have been speculating that could lead to some sort of reset of the Marvel universe, or at least a new status quo. But yeah, you get the feeling that this is laying the groundwork. There's going to be the
Actually, if
precursor
you
to that.
if you look at the cover, the banner head is Armageddon Assembles this summer with a couple of Avengers logos there at the top.
Hmm.
Interesting. Um, Following that up, we have a new Punisher series. Crime's Worst Nightmare is back in an all-new ongoing series. As unflinching and uncompromising as ever, Frank Castle's memory is damaged, and he's hunting for answers and criminals alike. He'll get more than he bargained for both whenever the notorious and bloodthirsty Jigsaw returns, with the Punisher dead in his sights. Writer is Ben Percy. Very excited about that. Jose Luis Suarez Pinto is the penciler, and lovely David Marquez cover there. So that's going to be an ongoing coming off the back, I guess, of the Punisher Red Bad Mini, where Frank's memory has been screwed about there with Kingpin and whatnot. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it looks like all is forgiven with Frank and Punisher at the moment. We've had Marvel Knights Punisher, we've had Punisher Red Bands, Daredevil Punisher, and now we're getting an ongoing series as well. So you could almost say, welcome back, Frank.
Welcome back,
Uh,
Frank. Indeed.
Moving on from there, you have a new Godzilla book kicking off. Obviously, there's been Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe finished off recently, and there is another series which I think is going to be following on from that. So Godzilla Infinity Roar, number one of five, written by Jerry Dugan, art by Javier Garon and Ig Guara. The King of Monsters meets the King in Black. Earth's mightiest heroes unleash the galaxy's deadliest threat as Godzilla rampages across the cosmos. The combined forces of Earth's mightiest heroes manage to spare Earth by exiling Godzilla into space. Sounds like the end of Fantastic Four to me.
Yeah.
But in doing so, they may have just heralded the end of the larger galaxy, as Null, the god of the symbiotes, fans the flames of Godzilla's anger. A new campaign for galactic conquest begins with the King of the Monsters and the King in Black at the helm. Will the cosmos be able to band together to stop the two juggernauts, or will a new era of death and destruction descend upon the cosmos? One thing's for sure, from the galactic empire of Wakanda, Shi'ar Empire, Kree, Skrull, space and beyond, no planet will be safe as Godzilla destroys the Marvel galaxy. Godzilla, like, who knew Godzilla was such a malleable character that you could just fit him
Absolutely.
into anything?
Um, I kind of enjoyed, the Godzilla versus and those individual issues and the Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe, but I think I'm done now. I don't think Infinity War is gonna get me. But one that is worth mentioning that we didn't note down, and I'm sure you're just transferring people who are on Fist of Khonshu directly onto Mark Spector Moon Knight. It's one of those weird relaunches where it's going to be a new number one, Mark Spector Moon Knight, after the end of Fist of Khonshu. It's the same creative team, Jed MacKay, Dave Pramanik. But I mean, while there's always a lot of hate around these, I can see what Jed MacKay does. He did exactly the same with Doctor Strange. He's given Marvel their new number one, which obviously gives a wee jumping on point and a wee bit, but it's usually at a point in his story that it sort of makes sense. But Moon Knight is missing. Mark Spector has been many things: an Avenger, a Fist of Khonshu, a Karnak cowboy, and now kidnapped. But by whom and why? Don't they have any idea? They've trapped Moon Knight. That's December. Sorry, that's February 11th, and yeah, usual creative team. What's the score there, Alan? In
Yeah, I
terms
mean,
of
from Moon Knight, we just transferred straight over. As you say, it's continuing Moon Knight ongoing. It's same creative team, but it is obviously it does represent a good jumping on point for people if they're new to the series. Yeah, I mean, Jed MacKay definitely does this better than most. With these relaunches, he does make it that they can have their number ones, but also I think he satisfies people who are on the title for the long haul. So, yeah. But again, if you're already on Moon Knight, I think the last one was Fist Conchu, wasn't it?
Fist of
So
Country, yeah,
I think it went
absolutely.
Moon Knight, The Vengeance of Moon Knight to Fist of Conchu, and now on to Mark Spector Moon Knight. So number one launching in February.
That is the one. So just swooping into the X-Men corner, we have the beginning of the Shadows of Tomorrow, which is the next sort of arc that's coming off the back of Age of Revelation, which I'm actually quite enjoying, I have to say, coming to an end this month. So we're relaunching a bunch of number ones with a bunch of new creative teams. There's a couple that interest me. There's a couple that don't terribly interest me. But one of the ones that does interest me is Cyclops number one, the one-eyed X-Man Unleashed. I don't know if they know, but Scott Summers actually has two eyes. Weird. Scott Summers is a mutant who is always in near total control of his powers and his emotions. But what happens when he's separated from the X-Men, lost in a mountain wilderness without the visor that keeps his devastating power in check? And will he be able to stay alive when Donald Pierce and his cyborgs, the Reavers, are hunting him? It's a tale of the X-Men's leader at his most savage core. That's writer Alex Packnadale and artist Roger Antonio, and a lovely Federico Vincentini cover there. So that looks interesting. Definitely has the sniff of a mini series about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's one of five in the Marvel book.
Yeah.
So sometimes the Marvel book does specify, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, in this case, that is going to be a five issue mini.
There you are. So at least they're announcing that before it starts, which I guess is nice of them. So we've also got Magic and Colossus launching with Ashley Allen and Jermaine Peralta. This is Ilyana Rasputin is a cynical sorceress with power harnessed from the dark realm of Limbo. Pietro Rasputin is made of metal but with a heart much softer than his exterior. But despite being family, blood does not run thicker than water. When they return to their mother country, they discover ancient monsters from Russian folklore preying on the innocent. Can these two mutant siblings set aside their differences to save their country? We have Generation X-23 number one. Her name is Wolverine, but the legend of X-23 grows. So that's Laura, Gabby, long lost friend. Kind of a wee bit disappointed in that one because Generation X is something that I've really enjoyed in the past. So I don't know about that. And then we've got Storm, Earth's Mightiest Hero, by Murewa Adewale and Frederico Mansion. So that's Aurora Monroe as Storm. What's she up to? Uh, she
Well, with
turns
that
her
one,
gaze home to Earth.
that's going to be another five-issue miniseries.
Yeah,
Of the ones you've mentioned, Cyclops, Magic, and Colossus, and Storm are all guaranteed to be five-issue minis. Although the
yeah,
Marvel book just
absolutely.
has Generation X 23 as number one,
Yeah,
it doesn't
maybe.
necessarily specify how long that will go for.
Yeah, exactly. We also have Inglorious X-Force in its second issue, Rogue on its second issue of five, and there's one that you're much more interested than I am.
I was just going to introduce this one as Keith's most anticipated title of the month. And I mean, why wouldn't it be? Look at that creative team, written by Benjamin Percy, art by Jeff
Uh-huh.
Shaw. That's
Mm.
a powerhouse team. It's just a shame they don't have a powerhouse character for you, Keith. This is Wade Wilson, Deadpool #1. So dangerous, unhinged, deadly. Deadpool is a man on the brink, and that means the jobs are deadlier, the stakes are higher, and the humor is darker than ever before. But Wade Wilson isn't laughing. A dark memory haunts Deadpool as a mysterious clan leads him down a troubling path. This way lies redemption? No, something far worse. Wade can never be forgiven for what he's done. The new ongoing series begins. Now tell me that's not a solicitation that at least tantalizes a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. As you say, that creative team is pretty interesting. So yeah,
Okay,
yeah. In
we'll
terms
move
of
we'll move away from
yeah,
me saying this is what you're looking forward to and actually move on to something I know you'll be looking forward to because this is very much your bag in your corner of the Marvel universe.
yeah, very much. So you're talking about the deadly hands of Kyon.
Absolutely.
So this is anything that involves an Iron Fist in any form, and I'm there. So Deadly Hands of Kunlun #1: the seven heavenly cities are falling. As demonic forces march their conquering army across the seven heavenly cities, there's only one man who can stand in their way and restore order, and that's Iron Fist. However, as more cities fall and the demonic forces swell, he'll need to rely on some unlikely allies to face the incoming onslaught. But will the combined forces of Elektra, White Tiger, White Fox, and Pi be enough to stem the tide, or is Lin Lee destined to watch as the legacy of the Iron Fist goes up in flames? Writer Yi Fan Yang and artist Paco Medina send Marvel's greatest martial artists into their most intense journey yet. So that's kind of cool that they're assembling, Iron Fist, who is currently the undead Iron Fist, or Danny Rand. We have Lin Lee, who's the current Iron Fist, and Pi, who is, I guess, a future Iron Fist. They're bringing them together in that sort of legacy sort of a thing. So nice to see, for sure. Always pleased to see that. So a couple of things happening in terms of Spider-Man and the Avengers. So in February we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Now, to my mind, Amazing Spider-Man has really turned a corner these past few months under Joe Kelly, and issue 22 is the end of the. There's been a dual storyline, one in which Peter Parker is in space, almost acting as a Guardian of the Galaxy with a new costume, and so forth. And in the meantime, Ben Reilly has been covering for him as Peter Parker. Ben Reilly, who's obviously his clone, has been covering for him as Peter Parker, while Norman Osborn has been covering for him as Spider-Man back on Earth. So that dual narrative is coming to an end with Amazing Spider-Man 22, and we're kicking off into the next event, I guess, the next storyline, which is Joe Kelly, Al Ewing on Spider-Man Venom Death Spiral. Now, I don't really have a lot of interest in Venom and what's going on in Venom, so I don't know what I'm going to do about Death Spiral. We'll see what happens. But that Death Spiral #1 is actually this month as well. Spider-Man and Wolverine, which has been a great team up series, seems to be coming to an end with issue 10 now. That's pretty damning whenever a series featuring Spider-Man and Wolverine can't get past issue 10, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder how Marvel does operate these days with these series. Like, do they just greenlight five issues at a time?
Yeah.
Then look at sales. As you say, it is a little concerning. I mean, Marvel does seem to specialize an awful lot in 5 issue minis at the moment,
Mm,
and if
yeah.
they're lucky, they get to 10. But this book's been, I mean, at our store anyway, it has been pretty successful, and a lot of people do
Yeah.
seem to be really
Kerry
enjoying it.
Andrews. Yeah. It's that's been a fantastic book. And we had thought as of last month that Bendis might be taking over Avengers, but with Avengers 800, but we're here with Avengers 35, and Jed McKay is thankfully still on it. Can't complain
Looking at
about
that
that.
solicitation though, that sounds like an end of an era solicitation to me.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, a new universe? Question mark. The Avengers and Twilight Court must face the destruction of the universe, but will their combined might be enough to save it, or will this be the end of the Marvel universe as they know it?
Oh, mhm.
So maybe Jed's just there on a day by day basis, an issue by issue basis.
Right.
We'll see. But yeah, obviously with Bendis coming back, Avengers is usually a natural fit for him, I
Mhm.
believe. But moving away from sort of the mainline Marvel universe and into the 20th Century Studios line, obviously Marvel been very good with their licensed stuff in the last couple of years. Alien getting a good showcase, and also Predator. And there's a new Predator 5 issue miniseries kicking off called Predator Bloodshed. It's written by Jordan Morris with art by Roland Boschi. In the near future, Earth's fiercest fighters have gathered for an underground martial arts tournament organized by a shadowy corporation. But all hell breaks loose when an unexpected competent enters the ring, an alien predator. Uh, that could be confusing, saying an alien predator.
Alien with a
Uh,
small A.
Now the champions are battling not just the grand prize, but for their very lives. Can a disparate group of competitors band together in time to survive the extraterrestrial hunter? Choose your fighter, place your bets, and brace yourselves for a bloody tournament unlike any other.
Very cool.
Speaking of licensed,
Yeah, as you say, the 20th Century Fox license. I mean, there's a lot of talk about licenses at the minute with what's going on with Netflix and Paramount and Warner Brothers. But uh, the 20th Century Fox license is very much under the Marvel banner here. And worlds collide with Planet of the Apes versus Fantastic Four #1. The world's first family find themselves stranded on the planet of the apes. Witness history as the Fantastic Four cross paths for the first time with Cornelius, Zira, Ursus, and of course Dr. Zaius. But they won't be going alone. Familiar foes from the Marvel Universe have set their sights on Ape City, setting the stage for a battle royale that fans won't soon forget. That's written by Ross Trujillo and art by Andrea DeVito. Looks interesting. Looks interesting.
and just before we jump into a couple of collected editions, I can't believe neither of us put this down. Star
What's that?
Wars Jar Jar #1.
You know what? I looked past it. I looked past it. It's written also by the guy who voiced Jar Jar.
Yeah,
So
Ahmed Best. Jar Jar Returns, co-written by Jar Jar himself. Ahmed Best. It is just a one shot. Jar Jar faces the consequences of giving emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine. What pivotal role does Jar Jar play in the formation of the Rebel Alliance? Guest starring fan favorite Jedi Knight Galarian Beck. I mean, Jar Jar. I mean, for
aye.
those who are too
Yeah.
young, they understand. You know, keep it that
Aye.
way.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, no, into a couple of collected editions. Just worth mentioning here quickly as well, the Marvel Premier Collection is starting to bulk out a little bit. The Marvel Premier Collection is, of course, Marvel's equivalent to the DC Compacts. And we've already had solicitations for Planet Hulk, for Punisher, Welcome Back Frank, and then another one's been added here, which is Spider-Man Worlds Collide, written by Brian Michael Bendis, Sarah Pichelli. So this was the first ever union of the Marvel and Ultimate Universe. But can the wall crawlers of two different worlds defeat Mysterio, the Master of Illusions? What will happen when Miles Morales encounters an older, wiser version of his inspiration, Peter Parker? Or when Peter meets different versions of Aunt May and Gwen Stacy? Then, following the events of Secret Wars, Miles has a new home in the Marvel Universe. But where is the version of Miles who was in the MU to begin with? As the mystery deepens, our heroes find themselves targeted by the Taskmaster. So this collects 2 volumes, Spider-Man 1 to 5 and Spider-Man 2 1 to 5. So it's good to see Marvel are starting to bulk these out because it's it's definitely an area I think DC is sort of winning that battle a little bit in the moment, and that there's just many more titles coming out in it. But
Mm,
Marvel's starting to play catch up, which again, with those size of editions, is never a bad thing.
yeah. Yeah. Another cool one that's coming out in hardcover is X-Men: The Messiah Trilogy Omnibus. It's for the first time in one volume, the epic trilogy starring mutant messiah Hope Summers. This is pretty fantastic trilogy. It was made up of Messiah Complex, Messiah War, and Second Coming, and it was all about the I guess it was the end game involving or the story of Hope Summers as she was then. With no more mutants being born, the future of Homo superior has never looked bleaker. At the seeming end of their evolutionary cycle, a miracle arrives in the form of the first child born with the X gene since the tragic events of M Day. But this sudden source of hope spawns a bloody, violent, and tragic conflict over control of the baby girl's fates. To safeguard this infant, Cable takes her into the future, but soon finds himself trapped there with the relentless Bishop in hot pursuit, intent on killing the child. When Cyclops sends the Black Ops Squad X-Force forward in time to help, the battle is on. But when Cable finally returns to the present, will the girl he has raised, Hope Summers, prove to be mutant kind's savior or its damnation? So this collects a whole pile of stuff from across the Messiah Complex, Messiah War, Second Coming. It's a chunky 1,112 pages, coming in at that £125 price mark. Chad Anderson, Chris Biggs, Christopher Yost, Craig Kyle. Really was a good trilogy. I've got the three separate books here. Stuart finally gave them back to me after about 6 or 7 years of having them. I totally forgot I had them.
Did he at
But
least read them?
he read them, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
But
that's good.
I just hadn't even noticed they were missing. But yeah, so well
When
worth
you when you
well worth a
your
read.
collection is so big you don't even notice things missing. It's always worrying, isn't it?
I mean, I just didn't remember giving them to him. I did give them to him, but I just didn't remember giving them to him.
I mean, I can understand why this is an X-Men story you would go to. It has two of your favorite words in there, one being Cable and one being Bishop.
Yep, you're exactly right. You're
Yeah,
exactly
but
right.
tons of great talent involved there. Written by Ed Brubaker, Matt
Yep,
Fraction, Peter
yep,
David. So lots of great. I mean, I've never read that, but that does sound pretty interesting. What was
yeah,
it,
very
M
cool.
Day? Out of interest.
M Day was whenever Scarlet Witch said the words "No more mutants."
Oh, was that House of M?
Uh,
Was it?
yeah, and reduced. Yeah, so that was that. So that
Oh, fair
M Day,
enough.
and reduced the population of mutants to like was it like it was a tiny amount, 192 or
Hmm.
something. Yeah.
Cool. Well, just one last one to throw in from myself, and it is another omnibus. This is The Punisher and Fury Max by Garth Ennis omnibus. This is written by Garth Ennis, of course, drawn by two different artists, Goran Parloff and Jason Burrows. This is a really good omnibus for the simple reason that some of these books are impossible to get your hands on in either collected edition form or single issues. And they're really good as well into the bargain. So, legendary Punisher scribe Garth Ennis reveals the secret bloody history of Frank Castle and Nick Fury. Before the Punisher was born in Vietnam, Frank Castle had already become a dark legend of the battlefield. Now learn the truth about Castle's first command and his first kill. It's the answer to the question, what made the Punisher? Colonel Nick Fury certainly had an impact along the way. As an old man, Nick sits alone in a dank hotel room, coughing his confessions into a tape recorder, laying out a legacy of carnage stretching back to World War II, including his encounters with a young Marine sniper named Frank Castle. You won't believe the horrors Frank and Nick went through in Vietnam and how they survived to tell the tale. Nick's constant lust for combat has blinded him to all other concerns, but the end is coming, the debt is long past due, and Fury's true legacy will soon be written in blood for all to see. Plus, a modern day tale of the Punisher rooted in seeds planted decades ago in Moscow and Afghanistan. So, this collects the miniseries Punisher the Platoon 1 to 6, Fury Max 1 to 13, Get Fury 1 to 6, and Punisher Soviet 1 to 6. So, Punisher the Platoon and Punisher Soviet are damn near impossible to get in trades. So, again, this being a nice collected edition of all is a good thing. 712 pages of Punisher glory there. Will come in at the $100 price point, which is on RRP at £90. We tend to sell those for around 85. So that's an advance solicit for on sale July 2026. And that brings an
Lovely.
end to the Marvel book.
Surely does. Surely does. So we're just gonna a few bits and pieces. We're gonna swoop through IDW, Image, Dynamite, Distillery, and Bad Idea with a couple of picks each from those. So in IDW, the one that's jumping out at me is, of course, the Rocketeer. As a big Rocketeer fan, I've got a lovely big poster that he's framed to go up in the house here of the Rocketeer that we got the last time we were at Thought Bubble. But on February 25th, we've got Rocketeer, The Island #1. The Rocketeer returns to save Amelia Earhart in a brand new series by creator Dave Stevens. The year is 1938, and Cliff Secord, aka the Rocketeer, is recruited to lead lead a search and rescue mission. The mission: find Amelia Earhart. Considering a year has passed since the famous pilot went missing, the Rocketeer is hesitant at first. That is until he learns the expedition is to the same island Betty ran off to with the scummy photographer Marco. The Rocketeer will have to uncover the secret of the century's greatest mystery while trying to win back his girlfriend. But what else awaits him on the island? Beloved writer John Layman, Chew, and currently on Titans, and artistic powerhouse Jacob Edgar from Plastic Man No More. You remember that one?
Yeah, it's
Team
really
up
good
to
fun.
tell the wildest Rocketeer story ever, based on a never published outline by Rocketeer creator Dave Stevens. So that'll be a beauty. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's just so many words in that solicitation and are just right up your alley.
Absolutely. But
It's
you're a big Layman fan, obviously, as well. So
Yeah, John Lemon, obviously creator of Chew, and then many other things since. But you can go back in the podcast feed, find a really fun interview with him. Actually, really
yeah,
engaging guy.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
then yeah, that being from an original Never Before used outline as well from the original creator. So definitely
Yeah, that's
lots going for
something.
it there. But speaking of things that tick every box for me, there is a new Baker Phillips hardcover that is solicited here. I think this will probably be an advanced solicit. Yep, this isn't due out until May, but this is Five Gears in Reverse, a criminal book hardcover. So a brand new criminal graphic novel from Image Comics featuring the legendary Ricky Lawless and the crazy tale of how he and Mallory fell in love in the midst of a crime spree. In one of the wildest, most action-packed books that Brubaker and Phillips have ever done, we delve deep into the life of one of criminal's most complex and tragic characters. Ricky Lawless says he tries to pay off a deep debt to a mobster while things just keep going from bad to worse. Five Gears in Reverse will have long-time criminal fans cheering the return of Ricky Lawless, and new readers will find it a perfect jumping-on point for the greatest crime comic series of the 21st century. I cannot disagree with that statement. Criminal
Hmm.
is just awesome, and anything from these two is just an instant pickup. Also from Image Comics, a brand new #1, so a brand new series kicking off. Sounds great. This is from the team of writer William Harms and artist John Paul Mavinga. It's called White Sky. So brand new #1. 5 years ago, the sky turned white and the world ended. Violet and her father David are forced out of hiding and flee toward the ruins of San Francisco, where they believe they'll be safe. But in this haunted world ruled by ghosts, no place is safe. Sounds really, really intriguing. So many end of the world stories are always zombies or viruses or
Hmm.
but ghosts is an interesting twist on it. So yeah, that sounds really interesting. Out February 18th.
Cool. I can't look past anything that is inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos. So February 11th, we have The Thing on the Doorstep, #1 from Image. Daniel Upton and Edward Derby have been the best of friends almost their entire lives, right up to the point Daniel shoots Edward dead in the Arkham Sanatorium, a crime Daniel swears he didn't commit despite all the evidence. What happened on that fateful day in Arkham? What is the truth behind the seemingly mindless act of violence? Witness the beginning of this doomed relationship and Edward's slow descent into a horrifying world beyond his control. From award-winning writer Simon Burks, who wrote Antarctica, Sinners, Gone, and The Shadow over Innsmouth, with artist Willie Roberts, who's his partner on Antarctica, also in The Dark, Clodagh, The Blood Below, and Remothered, comes a chilling tale based on H.P. Lovecraft's terrifying story. I think that's a one shot, but I'm not just 100%. Um, and following that, I did notice in some of the comments I'd read, someone going, "Could you not think of another name for your sanatorium?" Not realizing that the name for Arkham in Batman came from Lovecraft.
Yeah.
But
Uncultured
but
swines.
swine indeed. So following that, then we have the first of a new series in the Universal Monsters line, and that's the Phantom of the Opera #1. A horrifying new vision of the story you only think you know. After a series of violent crimes racks the Paris Opera House, Christine Dubois' career is in chaos, but the show must go on, and Christine will discover that no one, especially the mysterious voice whispering from the eaves, is what they seem. As an old friend returns to investigate these surprising attacks, Christine will find out there's no escaping the Phantom of the Opera. Superstar team of Tyler Boss and Martin Simmons present the shocking new horror series of 2026 that will thrill Phantom of the Opera fans, new and old, with a twist no one will see coming. Sounds interesting. Now, I have to say, of the Universal Monsters series so far, this is the one that maybe has grabbed me least, but given Martin Simmons from Department of Truth is on art, I'm all over it.
And indeed, from Dracula, the first
From
Universal Monsters
Dracula,
book
which kicked
that
this all off, yeah.
kicked it all off. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, the Universal Monster stuff in general has been very, very popular. And
Yeah.
again, it's a little bit like Brubaker Phillips, in that people just say to me, Universal Monsters, stick 'em on my pull list, doesn't matter what the series is. So
Hmm.
it's definitely established itself as a fan favorite.
Cool. So we'll light the fuse on Dynamite, will we?
Absolutely. So a couple of books from Dynamite, and I'll actually kick this off because there's one we didn't mention, which I'm
Okay.
disgusted at myself for not putting on our list. It's Archie versus the Army of Darkness.
Oh, really? Yeah. Hmm.
Just to show that Archie can be crossed over with absolutely anything.
Anything, anything. Yeah.
You have Archie versus the Army of or Archie times Army of Darkness, I should say, written by Eric Burnham with art by Bill Galvin. It's a teenage nightmare. There's a certain man named Ash, you may have heard of him, who is doomed to battle against the forces of evil over and over again, whether he likes it or not. No matter where he goes, the cycle of violence always repeats itself, until the day he arrives in the picturesque town of Riverdale. This supernaturally wholesome community seems to break the curse that has plagued Ash ever since he first encountered its otherworldly evil all those years ago. Or rather, the curse was broken until a over-curious teenager named Archie finds a copy of the Necronomicon Ex Mortis and reads a portion of it aloud, summoning the horrifying Deadites once again. Now, Ash, the good townsfolk of Riverdale must hold back the undead hordes long enough for Archie to undo what he's unwittingly done. Otherwise, an army of darkness will roll over Riverdale and destroy everything and everyone in its path, and that's just not going to happen on Ashley J. Williams' watch. You really can just insert Ash into anything, and it just sounds fun.
Archie,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Ash as well, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Good stuff. We have a Thundercats a Valentine's Day special of 2026. Now these are three words. This solicitation starts with three words that I know we don't often like to hear together, but it fits here. Love and thunder are in the air. After setting out
boo.
after setting out in a solo mission to explore the wilds of Third Earth, Panthro finds himself caught in the middle of an ancient battle between two rival warlords. Trapped in an endless cycle of violence, the feuding parties have been at each other's throats for longer than anyone can remember. But as Panthro discovers, their enmity has been made all the more bitter because of what they used to mean to each other. Faced with an escalating conflict that could endanger the Thundercats' adopted home, Panthro must find a way to unravel the tangled web of old wounds and raw emotions and ignite a spark of reconciliation between the star-crossed commanders before the bloodshed expands to cover all of Third Earth. Ed Brisson, the irresistible author of Thundercats Lost and Apex, teams up with hot-blooded artist Elton Thomas, Lost Dimension and Animosity, for an epic 40-page tale of pride and passion, featuring a range of covers and a premium mysterious blind mystery blind bag thing. So there you are.
To give it its official title.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. That's
because we seem to be spending more and more time in the world of Dynamite, what have they done to us in the last year or two? There's another one to showcase as well. And again, this just sounds fun. It puts me in mind of a book that came out years ago, which was when DC did crossovers with Looney Tunes, and you had an amazing book, which was Batman Elmer Fudd. This is The Muppets Noir, #1. I feel compelled to read this in like a husky voice. It was a dark and froggy evening. It's time to cue the music. It's time to dim the lights. It's time to get things started as the Muppets return tonight. The show is about to begin at the famous Muppet Theatre, and the regular pre-curtain chaos has the troupe's stalwart MC, Kermit the Frog, coming apart at the seams. In an attempt to de-stress, he settles down to read a few pages of a favourite old detective novel, only to get KO'd by an errant brick to the bean, leaving him laid out backstage as his co-stars try to coax him back to consciousness. But unbeknownst to them, Kermit has taken up the hard-boiled mantle of his fictional hero to walk the darkened streets of Dreamland, righting wrongs and cracking cases under the concealing cover of night. Flip Minnow PI has no time for song and dance, not if he's going to solve the baffling mystery of the snoozing sleuth. Legendary cartoon talent and Muppets comic veteran Roger Langridge bellies up to the drawing table once more for an all-new tale of crime and punishment with the Muppets Noir #1, featuring clue-filled cover art from both the author and guest artist Declan Shelby. And it's also got another one of those deluxe mystery blind bag thingies.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Sounds really, really fun though.
yeah,
You
it
insert the word
does.
noir into anything, and I'm there to be honest. So yeah, bring it on.
Very cool.
So yeah, that is everything I believe from Dynamite.
You got
There
something in distillery, have you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you know, fellow creators and anything size Spurrier writes, we tend to jump on and give a chance to, especially when it's his independent stuff. So from Distillery, this is a slight advance solicit. This is due out March the 11th. This is A Mischief of Magpie. So this is a new distillery series from Cy Spurrier and artist Matthias Bergara. Mar has a secret. Sometimes, without warning, he falls out of this world. This would be an inconvenience if his life wasn't already such a drag. When he's gone, he finds himself in an extraordinary city, a city which is also a machine, endlessly crossing a shoreless ocean, a city of two halves, the bright, bustling spires above the waves, and the beast haunted twilight hills below. And between, clowning along a rusting beach, a troop of anarch magpies with the answers but none of the questions. Recipients of the Angoulême Sélection Officielle, GLAAD Award, and multiple Eisner Award nominations, creator Cy Spurrier and Matt Asbagara present a new fantasy masterpiece in the tradition of Coda and step by bloody step driving the comics medium into new, beautiful, baleful waters. And here's the best part for Keith. Every issue from Distillery is presented in our perfect bound prestige format, featuring wraparound covers with spot gloss on robust cover stock, complemented by 48 pages of exquisite interior stock. It's the Distillery difference. For fans of the never ending story, Arcane and the Boy and the Heron.
Lovely.
So that
Lovely.
is from Distillery, and that is everything from myself for this month. But one last one for Keith to wrap it up for us.
Just one more from me from Bad Idea Comics, who are the company that have brought us the fantastic Planet Death up until now, and also Ordained, which I picked the first issue up of yesterday by Robert Vendetti. Haven't read it yet, but the solicitation is strong and violent, and probably for fans of noir stuff, gangster stuff, Punisher type stuff. This is The Ordained Presents The Machine Number Zero. New York Times best-selling writer Robert Vendetti, Superman 78 and Planet Death, and powerhouse artist Trevor Hairsine, deceased, and X-Men join forces in an essential new chapter of the Ordained mythos with an all-new bone-crushing special. When his hired thug fails to take down Father Roy, crime boss Cormac Byrne calls in the only man he can trust to finish the job, the ruthless hulking killer for hire known only as the Machine. An unrestrained force of blue collar brutality, the Machine doesn't hesitate and he doesn't stop until the work is done. Meet the man tasked with cleaning up Burns' mess in his brutal, no prisoners one shot. Witness how the Machine takes care of his business. So this obviously, given the solicitation for the Ordained, this seems to dovetail very, very nicely into where that series is going. I don't know if there's going to be more Ordained Presents or whatever else, but yeah, great creative team and Jorge Fornes cover there.
Yeah, cover's
So
stunner. I
yeah,
mean, that's a movie poster right there.
yeah,
Just
buddy.
beautiful simplicity, but very, very eye-catching. Yeah,
Did
I
we hear
mean,
that The Ordained has been picked up as a movie already? Was that
I
not?
believe so. Yeah, it's Colin Farrell. I
Yeah,
think's already attached to it. But yeah, I mean, the stuff coming from Bad Idea is really, really interesting at the moment. I mean,
yeah,
Planet
it
Death
is.
was is awesome. Ordained looks really good. I've picked up a copy myself this week. You've got this book we mentioned last month, Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, The Two Hollywoods
That's
looks really,
right.
really
Yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah.
So Bad Idea, their output isn't massive, but again, maybe that's not a bad thing. They can sort of focus in on the quality a little bit more.
They seem to just be kicking off again.
Yeah, very much so. They tried an interesting thing a few years ago where, you had to sign up to get their stuff exclusively and only certain retailers could carry it and this and that. But now they're operating through Diamond and the more sort of traditional comics model. And I don't think that's a bad thing because they're
Mm.
definitely reaching a bigger audience as a result. So yeah, so that is everything from us in terms of the December books for predominantly February releases, though of course there were a few advanced solicits in there. The cutoff for the initial orders anyway is Christmas Eve. So 24th of December. Of course, there is a chance for us to top up our orders after that, just in case you come to this pod a little later or discover some of the titles a little later. But yeah, as
Mm-hmm.
ever, just get in touch with the store, drop us an email, coffeeandheroes@hotmail.com, get in touch through one of the many, many, many social medias we're on, or of course, pop into the store and we can always update any pull lists for you. So, tons of great stuff to look forward to there, and the wallet's looking a little lighter.
Nice one. That was good fun. Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, very very cool.
Nice one. So that'll be the last previews pod of the year. We are endeavoring to put together a best of 2025 pod, which we'll hope to hopefully get to soon. And then we're gonna sort of reevaluate, make sure we have a bit of a concrete plan moving forward for the new year in terms of what we're going to be releasing, what we're going to be focusing on. So we appreciate everyone who has stuck with us through this interesting time and the time of less than consistent content, but hopefully 2026 will be a good year for that. So again, as ever, hope you enjoyed this, guys. Hope it's pretty useful, sort of pointing out the stuff we're looking forward to, and I look forward to seeing you in the store soon. And if I don't see you before then, have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year.
Indeed. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone.